Thank you very much. Excellency, our Ambassador and Chair of the Peacebuilding Commission for the Configuration of Liberia. This meeting is really important to us, and so I'm very happy to have been invited to participate and look forward to being in Liberia in a week or two's time, actually, not very far. I also would like to acknowledge, I know not here just yet, but our Honourable Minister of Finance, who is coming from Liberia, and of course everyone in the mission in Monrovia. Hello, everyone. First, let me begin by congratulating the people of Liberia and the government in this successful transition. I think everyone was, willing it to succeed because so much has happened in Liberia that we can call a success story, and this was another step in that journey towards fulfilling the aspirations of the people in Liberia. So we welcome President George Weah, who has already signaled with his focus and his commitment to inclusive and sustainable development and really looking into the root causes and trying to deal with them. In just a few short weeks, we'll be there with many at the closing of UNMIL. But I think that in itself is success. And we should celebrate the work that they have done, and that we are at this transition, again, a bridge into sustaining peace, which is what we're all about, and we will speak to today. We know that there has been not just a success, but many have given their lives for this, and I think that's an important time to remember that nothing goes without sacrifices, particularly where we've had difficult pasts to try to bring this new future, new era. We want to commend, of course, the leadership of SRSG Zarif. I think that, this signals the way to do business and partnerships and collaborations in country where we are clearly supporting governments, and that partnership goes through thick and thin. As we've said all along, peace certainly can only be sustained where we have sustainable development, and this, I think, is one of the important conversations that we need to have, is those transitions to development and being proactive and ready to catch that ball and run with it, because the expectations of people after an election are very high. In our corridors where we negotiate and we work out frameworks for development and theories of change. This takes time, but every one day in the life of someone that is hungry, that doesn't have a job, is one that should give us a sense of urgency while we do the work that we do. Fortunately, we have a new era too. The Sustainable Development Goals provides for us a new way of doing development in our countries, a whole of government and a whole of development response, where we will certainly look at the finishing off the unfinished business of the MDGs, and so therefore eradicating poverty is at the center. But it's important that this happens with the economy, with the environment, strengthening our institutions and ensuring that we make the most of partnerships. We know that this has been reinforced by the UN Security Council in 2016, when in fact they called on us to ensure that we are much more coherent and coordinated. And so when we speak to the fund today, we speak to the Peacebuilding Plan, which is based on national countries' priorities in their plans, supported by our UNDAV, how we bring this all together so that it is a response. I will add to this that there is a regional plan, and Liberia is a very big part of that. In fact, it was under the chairship of President Sirleaf that we were able to find the alignment in a 10-year plan between the SDGs and 2063. So not layering governments with one international or regional plan after the other, but finding how this resonates and is embedded in national priorities and plans. We believe that Liberia is an important example of what sustaining peace means in practice. And we know that in March of last year, Liberia submitted its peace plan, and those are led by national actors. Again, the inclusivity and ownership of a plan is so important. So we welcome the efforts of the Peacebuilding Commission supporting the Liberian government. The new plan that would be drawn up for national development, 2018 to 2024, it really brings together all Liberia's peace-building priorities and efforts to achieve the 2030 agenda. So again, here, ensuring that there is alignment and coherence in what we do, so that it makes it much easier to produce a call for investments, because this is what it should be, investing in the development of Liberia. And we see that the international community continues to show its commitment to peace and development. The United Nations will continue to support Liberia through this transition. The UN country team that will take over from UNMIL under the leadership of a strengthened resident coordinator, and we have the administrator for UNDP here who will tell us much more about that. But this is, central to the reforms that are going on in the UN right now, peace and security management and development, where we want a strengthened and a much more supportive and responsive presence of the United Nations on the ground. Strengthening multilateralism for us means there is much better environment for bilateral arrangements that support governments in what they want to do, and also bringing in business and ensuring that civil society and other key actors play their part. We hope that these reforms will be seen up first and foremost in having a really good effect and response to the aspirations that the Liberian government has. One of the principal funding mechanisms that we hope for the UN's engagement in Liberia will be the Liberia Multi-Partner Trust Fund. It'll be country level. It's government co-chaired. It's pooled, aimed at reducing the fragmentation and duplication of development assistance to achieve sustainable development goals, and through that, sustain peace. The resources that are required, the means of implementation for the SDGs and the peace plan are considerable. So it is important that whatever mechanisms we put in place, that we strive to ensure that we have efficiency and effectiveness. And here, a better collaboration between development agencies and government institutions. The Peacebuilding Fund has already lent its support to Liberia's peacebuilding plan to the tune of $10 million in 2017, and now ready to extend its support. We believe much more is needed from development partners if we are to realize the ambitions that Liberia has, and it needs to happen in time behind the plans that we have. Peacebuilding Commission has long been an important partner for Liberia, and we're heartened to see the continued commitment here today and that of our development partners on the ground. I look forward to visiting Monrovia next week, celebrate the long path that Liberia has traveled towards peace, and to discuss ways forward with government in that support. We will work towards implementing the 2030 agenda and also the 2063. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this discussion today, especially in the week of CSW.